And they say if we'll only avoid any direct confrontation with the enemy, he'll forget his evil ways and learn to love us. All who oppose them are indicted as warmongers. They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.
Buy this car to drive to work to pay for this car. Buy this car to drive to work to work.
Welcome to Yellow Brick Road. My name is Jordan, and today we're going to talk about Donald Trump he's signing away anti-Semitism. That's right, you can do that by writing your name on a piece of paper. But first, please consider donating to Devon's Journey to Recovery. The GoFundMe link is in the description box. Click the link, check out the updates, the stories there, check out the other donations, and then make a donation yourself. None of the money goes to us, it goes to charity, which is, this GoFundMe for one of our subscribers and his wife to help them pay for medical bills, because we don't have medical debt forgiveness and we don't have single-payer health care. And people will actively fight against it, like this guy, Donald Trump. They will actively fight against it, and his fanboys will tell me, but the leftists are bad. Well, they're going to have to watch if they stick around, they're going to have to watch this video with me. So please, if you have money laying around, please donate. Devon's Journey to Recovery, GoFundMe link in the description box. All right. So Mr. Donald J. Trump is here. And he's going to help combat anti-Semitism in our universities and, I guess, in our life. But mainly universities, as I understand it. Something like pulling funding from them. If they have, probably for reasons of, if they have a BDS movement at their school, an anti-violent boycott of a country that these people feel are committing human rights violations. That doesn't mean anything, and I'm sure the Trump fans don't care about that. But they might care about this stuff, especially the conspiracy-minded. So let's go into it. I believe Trump's going to start rattling off some of his achievements as president. Not for you guys, not for the Americans, not for you guys. For Israel. Here we go.
Across our country, Jewish Americans strengthen, sustain, and inspire our nation. As president, I will always celebrate and honor the Jewish people, and I will always stand with our treasured friend and ally, the State of Israel. That I can tell you.
He brought the whole fucking cast for this one. Pay attention. You already see some of them. You already see Kushner and fucking Patriots owner. Pence, and you'll see more. It gets interesting.
So 2 years ago, I recognized the true capital of Israel, and we opened the American Embassy in Jerusalem. And we got it built. They were thinking anywhere for $1 billion to $2 billion. I did it for $350,000, We got a building that was in beautiful shape in the best location there is. And we got
best location there is.
It done. We got it done. We had it open in 4 months, and it's right now open. And I don't know, maybe someday they'll build a more expensive version of it, but it can't get much better, right, Robert? I think, and Ron can tell you, it can't get much better than what we have. We have the best location.
So please tell me why do Americans care about that? Oh, religious reasons. Gotcha. So, but America treats all religions equally. So, where's that, monument to Islam? Where's that at? Or any other? Where's the pagan one? Does he even do a Christian one? Trump? I'm sure he does. I'm sure. But a particular type of Christianity. And if you look in the background, you can see what he's going to say next. Right down there, you can see the words Golan Heights. Yeah, what does he say about that?
They were going out. They wanted me to sign an order for anywhere from $1 billion to $2 billion, and they were going to look for a piece of land, but they said land in Jerusalem is very rare and very expensive. I said, do you think we have a piece? And David Friedman, our great ambassador, did a fantastic job. He did a fantastic job. I said, David, they want to spend $2 billion. I said, go check it out. Let me see. He called me back. He said, sir, I think we can do it for about $250,000, maybe $300,000. So we'll save $1 billion, and we have a better location than any location we could have gotten on, right? And it's been open now for a long time.
I have a question. Is this coincidence that they're doing this after that shooting? Or is this was already planned or something? This doesn't have the sense of, someone, 4 people died. This room doesn't have the sense of that to me. I don't know. This seems more like a celebration, to be honest with you. But, yeah, maybe people behave differently, or this had nothing to do with the shooting.
So it was great. And we used all Jerusalem stone. Friends of mine like Jerusalem stone. Over here it costs a fortune. Over there it wasn't so expensive. I've also recognized Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights. That was another one.
Yep. He recognized a chunk of Syria as Israel's territory now. I mean, people are going to come to me like, he wants to get troops out of Syria. That's not a move you take. When you take two countries, let's say they're fighting over a piece of territory, Syria and Israel, let's say they're fighting over that territory. And the United States just comes in and says, well, it's Israel's now. That doesn't sound like diplomacy, right? The only real way to end these conflicts is diplomacy, is it not? Otherwise, you're just cutting and running. And what does that leave? Well, people will call that vacuums and whatnot. So, I'm just saying, giving another country someone else's territory does not sound like, an end to a conflict. Or occupying another country's oil reserves does not sound like an end to conflict. That doesn't make sense to me. But maybe a Trump fan can explain that to me. Maybe I'm just ignorant on the topic.
And I said to Bob, so what, Bob Kraft, I said, so what was bigger, Bob? What we did for Israel in terms of Jerusalem and moving the embassy to Jerusalem, becoming the capital of Israel, or the Golan Heights, which you've been looking to do for 52 years. They've been having meetings on the Golan Heights. Nothing.
By the way, I believe 60+ people died protesting the move, the embassy move. 62 people died, but I guess they were Arab or Muslim, so it didn't matter. Or, they're terrorists trying to climb walls with, tires and kites or whatever the fuck they were doing.
Nothing happened until I came along. I said, Bob Kraft, which is bigger? Which is more important to the Jewish people? He said, neither. I said, what does that mean? He said, what you did by terminating the Iran nuclear deal is bigger than both. I think that's true. I think that's true, Jeff. Could be.
I thought he did it. It was a bad deal for America. I thought that's why you would get out of the Iran nuclear deal. Right? I guess not. I guess it was for a different reason. And maybe you can play mental gymnastics and call that America first somehow. But I'm really curious what these, that consider themselves real America first people, I wonder what they're going to do. Are they going to vote for this? I mean, me personally, I expect a war with Iran if he gets reelected. All the moves have signaled that he's just waiting for a re-election. But the guy who actually says, I'll pull funding from Israel if they, they're fucking around with human rights and all that shit, I'll pull funding. A Bernie Sanders character, maybe you'll accept this because you're afraid of the leftist guy. Socialism is evil. It's like, isn't I don't know. Killing innocent people, isn't that evil too? Yeah, but the left is socialism. That's why they usually fall flat with their arguments. Anyways.
True. I said I sort of agree with that. But today we're taking another historic action. In just a few moments, I'll sign an executive order to combat anti-Semitism. This action makes clear that Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits the federal funding of universities and other institutions that engage in discrimination, applies to institutions that traffic in anti-Semitic hate. So
the leftists want to take my civil liberties away. They want to take my social media away. They want to take my right to protest away. What is this? What does trafficking in anti-Semitism mean? I'm pretty sure it means the BDS movement. It also includes language, probably. Students or teachers, let's say they're criticizing Israel, saying it's an apartheid state there. Oh, that's anti-Semitic. You gotta go. Please go vote for it. It's it's a story told over and over again. People working against their own interests. I will sit back and giggle. I'll feel bad for you too, but I'll chuckle a little bit, like I fucking told you.
This is a very powerful document that we're signing today, and it's been a very big story over the last number of days when they heard. As you know, they had almost universal support in Congress, and yet they didn't get it done. And this has gone on for years and years. They've almost had universal support, but there was always a roadblock. But this year, there's no roadblock because I'm doing it myself. It's much easier.
Yeah, I think there's like constitutional roadblocks. He's like, cut that out of the way. I'll just do it myself. No problem.
And we have support from many in Congress. This is our message to universities. If you want to accept the tremendous amount of federal dollars that you get every year, you must reject anti-Semitism. It's very simple.
What does that mean? What does that mean? That means your right to peacefully protest. Well, I'm not saying I'm like a BDS guy, but the idea of it is to have some sort of nonviolent pushback against a state that they consider as dangerous or a human rights violator. Right? They're not saying, let's grab guns and shoot them. It's like, no, they're saying, oh, well, we just won't give you any money if you do this. And he's essentially enacting the same thing, isn't he not? No more funding to these universities. They get no more money. Right? That's the government boycotting its own people because its own people want to boycott another country. Does that make any sense to you? We're not even at the good parts yet. Wait for the cast of characters that start walking towards the stage and the podium. Who are we signing this with?
My administration will never tolerate the suppression, persecution, or silencing of the Jewish people. We have also taken a firm stand against the so-called divestment and sanctions movement, or BDS. You know that very well.
Did you skip the boycott word on purpose? Because it might sound like, I don't know, like a human rights type of movement if you get rid of the word boycott. He's boycotting people boycotting. His own people, right? The people he's the president of. He's boycotting them for the sake of a foreign country. Jesus Christ. I'm curious what Trump fans are going to say here.
And I have to tell you, Jared Kushner and Ivanka, they've been talking to me about this for 3 years now, maybe longer than that. But I go back about 3 years where it's something that I could do about it. You know, in this position, we can do things about it. Before that, not quite as much. I'd be just like you. Successful, doing nicely, but not for this.
Did he sell that to you on the campaign trail? Was he telling you these are his plans? Or did he hoodwink you into thinking he's a countercultural character? Is he a snake oil salesman telling you that this is all about anti-intervention and we're going to bring new jobs back and we're going to put the corrupt people in Washington, we're going to put them in jail? It's like, no, and like he just recently signed NAFTA 2.0. It's like, what? What has he done for you? Seriously. In fact, he's worked the opposite direction on damn near every fucking thing. And Tim Pool's going to tell you, well, Trump's going to get reelected because of the economy. That's for dumb people. That's for dumb people who, just knowingly drink rat poison because Trump told them so.
But they've been talking from the beginning of the administration. They've been bringing this up. And we forcefully condemn this anti-Semitic campaign against the state of Israel and its citizens. We are profoundly honored to be
right. BDS is anti-Semitic.
Joined this afternoon by Rosalie Glasser, survivor of the Nazi Holocaust, the darkest chapter of human history. After the war,
there's been plenty of atrocities. Plenty. You're committing some right now, Donald Trump. You know what's going on in Yemen? There is no winners of atrocity. There's no first place medal. It's all the same shit. Dipshits like you trick and confuse a populace into doing something horrible. This has been happening over and over and over again throughout history. So I don't know why you're, placing a medal on it.
Or Rosalie came to America and started a drapery manufacturing business. Now she has written a book, starred in an award-winning film, and is going strong at the age of 102. Where is Rosalie? Hi. You're looking good. Thank you, Rosalie. Thank you for being here. It's an honor. And you.
How come Norman Finkelstein's not there? He's had family, I believe his parents dying in the Holocaust, or family members. I think one of his parents, or both of them, possibly.
You do. You really fill our hearts with hope and joy, Rosalie. So many people, and we know of your story. In honor of Rosalie and the millions of Jews who suffered unthinkable persecution, we renew our pledge now and always, never again. Never again.
That's the catchphrase.
Today we thank God for the Jewish people whose love and loyalty, brilliance and bravery, resilience and resolve, spirit and strength bless America and the world. Before I sign the executive order, I'd like to ask Oscar to say a few words, and Jonathan will light the menorah. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Oscar, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Oh boy, this is a great moment. So what I want to say is, in scriptures, it teaches us that when the Jewish armies went to fight to conquer the land of Israel from the Canaanites, it says the generals would speak to their men and say, leave if you're afraid. I always wondered why it says this. It said, if you're afraid to leave, because God was fighting for them. So I came up with this on my own. It's because you had no faith in God. Well, today I stand with a group of people who have tremendous faith in God, and we are all of different faiths, and we're all here with one thing in mind, and that is to end hate And I am so proud to be standing here the day that this was signed. This is a momentous moment in my life. And I want to thank the President and the First Lady for everything that they've done for Israel, but more important, for what they've done for America. America is a nation of many, many people, and we need to remember, whatever God you pray to, whatever religion you practice, we are all Americans, and we need to love each other, and that will conquer hate. Once again, thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm deeply honored.
Fantastic job. Thank you.
Unless you're anti-Israel, then you have no place here.
I appreciate it. And by the way, I see Alan Dershowitz. Come on up here for a second, Alan. Wow.
What? But Trump and Epstein, nothing to do with each other, right? Alan Dershowitz, he points him out and brings it, come up here. You're a friend of mine. We're friends now. And this, if you're on the conspiracy angle of things, like, this should be like a fucking red alert.
And I'd like to ask my friends, the pastors, to come up here. You know, Robert, and I have to say this to the other pastors, some of whom have been very kind. All of them have been very kind. We've never had such evangelical Christian support. Jeff, come on up, Jeff. Come on up here, Jeff. You're the one that's doing such a good job legally to make sure all of this happens. But
look at this cast of characters. Aren't these the guys you told me Trump was fighting? He's fighting these guys, right? Or is this 5D chess again? These, you know, apocalyptic-minded people who are ready for the world to end so that Jesus comes back. In fact, they'll try to nudge the world in a direction so that Jesus comes back. We'll start wars. We'll get out of the Iran nuclear deal. This is the religious, side of things, of how people behaving a certain way. Now, these dudes, they might be businessmen that they feel like they can just take advantage of these religious people, but the people themselves could be like, oh, this is good because, you know, Jesus will come back if whatever happens. If we wipe out the Muslims in the Middle East, Jesus will come back or something. Actually, I think their prophecies actually play off of each other. Actually counter narratives of each other. All three of the Abrahamic religions. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, we got to take all these fucking religious assholes from all the faiths, give them their own island, and say, here, go play your prophecy out over there. We have real shit to do over here.
Robert Jeffress, I didn't know him, but I watched him, and I'd watch him on different shows.
Trump can go with him.
I like that guy. Man, he talks really great about me, and I like people that talk well about me. And he was saying, he may not be the greatest Christian I've ever seen. He may not know the Bible quite as well as the rest of us. In fact, he may not know it very well at all. But that guy's a real leader. And he's going to do a job, and I appreciated that statement. I don't know if I should have, but I did. And
I don't think Trump believes any of this religious stuff at all. And he's just a businessman, a money man. Maybe he owes someone a favor or something. I don't know.
I think we have led, because I think we've made more progress toward faith leaders. We got rid of the Johnson Amendment, which was a disaster. So I'd like to ask if Robert, if you could say a couple of words, and if I could also ask Alan Dershowitz to say, and then we're going to sign a very important document. Okay, Robert, please.
There's John Hagee there in the background, blue suit. I believe that's him, right behind the menorah.
Thank you. It is true. I believe President Trump is the most pro-faith president in history when you look at what he has done for people of all faiths. And Mr. President, Jewish and Christian believers alike believe what God said to Abraham in Genesis 12, that God would bless those who bless Israel, and he would curse those who curse Israel. And I want to thank you, Mr. President, for being the kind of president who has the courage to stand up and be, when it comes to Israel, on the right side of history, but most importantly, you're on the right side of God, and that's why you are not going to fail, and we're going to stand behind you 100%. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank
This guy wouldn't last 20 minutes in a room with me. These are the worst, like, for me, these are the worst types that claim God is on a side or on their side or something. Meanwhile, all you actually see are political maneuvers of, we'll move the embassy here. We'll recognize the Golan Heights as Israel's. We'll throw away the Iran nuclear deal. Like, those are just political moves, dude. That's not God saying, this is the will of God to do this. Actually, it is, but not really. It's more of everything, not just, you know. These type of dipshits sort of sew in their own destruction within their own behavior, and I would call that God's work. I don't mean violent destruction. Yeah, I mean something else, an egotistical death, if you will. But yeah, it's bullshit. It's horseshit. None of what he just said is true. God's not peeking over his shoulder and say, I love what you're doing here, son. Keep doing this. Those Muslims, though, they got to go. They're the bad. I don't talk to them. They're bad guys. No. And like I said, I would end him in like 20 minutes in a discussion. He'd be like, oh, man. These are the type of people that need Jesus to float down from the sky. He'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? To say anything about what I was preaching at all? Even a little bit? Come on, guys. You'd see a lot of scampering and whimpering.
Great.
There he is, Mr. Dershowitz. That's right in the White House, ready to sign those papers. But I thought Trump and Dershowitz were against each other. It's 5D chess. He's fighting them.
For 65 of my 81 years, I have spent at universities all over the country and all over the world. There is no more important event in those 65 years to turn universities away from being bastions of hatred and discrimination than this executive order being signed today. It is a game changer.
Bye-bye, future Norman Finkelsteins. No place in school for you. They're cleaning up the SJWs in the schools. All the pink-haired kids. You see why that's a children's game? And why we called that a children's game a long time. Like, why am I going to talk about this? Like, here's the real shit happening. And here's the real shit just popping up on you out of nowhere. Right? These guys weren't paying attention to, like, well, Trump clearly hates Dershowitz because Epstein and all that stuff. Without looking into, now they're standing next to each other about to sign away some of your civil liberties, especially the young ones, the kids in school and stuff.
It will go down in history as one of the most important events in the 2,000-year battle against anti-Semitism. Thank you, Mr. President.
The 2,000-year battle against anti-Semitism? What the freak? Maybe I'm lost on that one. I mean, I could be lost. So you're saying, like, when Jesus died, that's when anti-Semitism came about? Or, I don't know what the narrative he's going with there.
You did a great job. The people who helped you do this did a great job, and you will be remembered by history for all time for having signed this very important order. Thank you.
God loves you specifically, Trump, because of this.
Hey guys.
Or he hands the pen to Jared. Like, you did this, son. You're just as... You deserve the credit, too. Alright, I think Jared says something after, but I don't give a shit, to be honest with you. A lot of conspiracy people think he's like the Antichrist or something. I'm like... I wouldn't see the Antichrist being such a pussy, you know? It'd be like a... I don't know. But, oh, that dude looks like a pussy. Man, yeah, maybe, you know. Yeah, I'd end him too. Give me 10 minutes, it'd be over for him. Yeah. I'd be like, oh, okay, let's talk about real spirituality. And he'd be like, oh, God, oh, get me out of here. Yeah, life's a lot more comfortable when your ego feels safe. But... you start doing some psychological digging, these people crumble in seconds. They have to stay away from those things. So they surround themselves with people who do this exact same thing. They surround people with that same pathology of don't look any deeper than your fucking eyeballs or your eyelids. That's as far as they go, their fucking eyelids. They go any deeper and it's like, that's dangerous waters. Stay away from there. And, yeah. So there's Trump signing away some civil liberties. And I remember people bringing up things about the disaster relief, and there was anti-BDS legislation attached to it. I heard people complain about Tulsi Gabbard and that resolution she signed that, people for the most part are like, oh, that's bad. But at the same time, it's like, oh, there's also saying the government can't do anything if you want to protest, if you want to boycott, sanction, divest as an individual. Like nothing, we won't get in the way of that if that's what people want. This is essentially boycotting anyone that boycotts a foreign country. I mean, this speech was genius because it's everything, all of it mixed into one. All the last theories about Donald Trump, right? He abandoned you on all these areas, the jobs. You say, oh, the jobs are up. That could be like a limited thing. What happens when NAFTA 2.0 comes into play? But either way, it's like, okay, let's say he did all right in the economy or whatever or whatnot. Even though people aren't paying attention to what wages, what types of jobs, who's benefiting in the economy. Are you just looking at Wall Street or the stock market and saying we're doing better? Or is it actually practical? Like, okay, I'm visibly doing better. Definitely abandon you on foreign policy, right? You just told us why he dropped out of the Iran nuclear deal. It's a good deal for Israel. He essentially just told us why he did that. Foreign policy, abandon you. How about putting all the corrupt politicians in jail? All the corrupt businessmen, putting them in jail. The hawks running around Washington. It's like, no, he just talks about the other guys on Twitter. Doesn't do anything about them. Just talks about them on Twitter, and he hired the other half. And the last things that you could hold on to have all just imploded in this video by itself. Let me bring up Dershowitz. Let me bring on John Hagee. Let me bring in these evangelical, fucking super strict to the Bible on the surface. Most likely they're snake oil salesmen. Fucking pastors and preachers and shit. That are basically telling you that when God says, they're telling you like, oh, God wants Israel and we want Americans to love Israel. We want Christians to love Israel. Like, what is that saying about America? Right? When you have your president bringing them up, it's like, what does that say? It's like, oh boy. Hey, is anyone going to have their Alex Jones moment? They're like, fuck Trump. Fuck him. He's abandoned you everywhere. He doesn't care about you. Alright, that's it from me. That picture should say 1,000 words. There's Dershowitz, Bob Kraft, fucking Patriots owner there. John Hagee, Jared Kushner, and Trump holding up legislation that he just signed to get rid of your civil liberties, your freedom of speech, if you will. Enjoy it, Trump fans. You earned it. Alright, that's it for me. Please subscribe if you feel like, comment, agree, disagree, send me information. I'm sure I'm missing stuff that Trump has done. Or make a counter argument. See what... Whenever like Trump fans jump in my comment section and they bring up foreign policy, they always end up leaving too early. I'm like, dude, we didn't even get... Like, we could have kept this argument going, but you left in round 2. Your coach threw in the towel in round 2, man. What's going on here? Stick around for a bit. Make your arguments. There's nothing wrong. Like, seriously, like, to be serious about it. Right there, I was just, like, you know, throwing jabs. But to be serious about it, like, there's nothing wrong with being wrong about something, as long as you go about it honestly. Right? You can talk to me. You can DM me on Twitter. No one knows about it. We fucking clear this shit up. The point is that you get more information, more intelligent about what these fucking creepers do. Right? Isn't that the point? Isn't that the point you voted for Trump in the first place? To get rid of the creepers? What happens when Trump is a creeper? It's like, oh, you have to recognize it and you have to expose it. I would say. But, yeah, let me know in the comments section. Don't forget to donate. Devon's Journey to Recovery. GoFundMe link in the description box. And with all that said, give this video a thumbs down.
Say you wanna get in.